Elizabeth II Charles, Prince of Wales Elizabeth II Boris Johnson Dominic Raab Elizabeth II the Lord McFall of Alcluith, Sir Lindsay Hoyle Sir Keir Starmer Supreme Court the Lord Reid the Lord Hodge Andrew Bailey. Monetary Policy Committee. There are 5 types of elections in the United Kingdom. Elections to the House of Commons of the United Kingdom. Elections to devolved parliaments and assemblies. Local elections. Mayoral elections and police and crime commissioner elections. Within each of those categories, there may also be by-elections. Elections are held on Election Day, which is conventionally a Thursday. Since the passing of the Fixed-Term Parliaments Act 2011 for general elections, all 5 types of elections are held after fixed periods, though early elections to Parliament and the devolved assemblies and parliaments can occur in certain situations. The 5 electoral systems used are the single-member plurality system, the multi-member plurality system, the single transferable vote, the additional member system and the supplementary vote. Elections are administered locally, in each lower-tier local authority. The polling procedure is operated by the acting returning officer or returning officer, and the compiling and maintenance of the electoral roll by the electoral registration officer. The Electoral Commission sets standards for and issues guidelines to returning officers and electoral registration officers, and is responsible for nationwide electoral administration. The total number of names in the United Kingdom appearing in electoral registers published on 1 December 2010 and based on a qualifying date of 15 October 2010 was 45,844,691. In England and Wales, anyone who will be aged 18 or over on polling day and who is a national of the United Kingdom, the European Union living in the UK, the Republic of Ireland, a Commonwealth country, can apply to the electoral registration officer in the local authority area where they reside with a considerable degree of permanence to be listed in that area's electoral register. In Scotland, those fulfilling the nationality requirements, or who otherwise hold leave to remain in the UK, who will be aged 16 or over on polling day can register to vote, as the age for voting in Scottish Parliament and local elections is 16. However, voters in Scotland under 18 are not entitled to vote in European Parliament and UK general elections. A person can still register at their ordinary address if they will be away temporarily. In addition, to qualify to appear on the electoral register, applicants who are Commonwealth citizens must either possess leave to enter or remain in the UK or not require such leave on the date of their application, and no applicant may be a convicted person, detained in prison or a mental hospital, or a person found guilty of certain corrupt or illegal practices. In Northern Ireland, a further criterion has to be fulfilled to qualify for registration. It is possible for a person to apply to be listed on the electoral register only if they have been resident in Northern Ireland for at least 3 months prior to the date of application. Remand prisoners, voluntary patients in mental hospitals and people without a fixed place of residence can register to vote by making a declaration of local connection. Members of armed forces and their immediate family members have the option of registering as a service voter by making a service declaration based on their last UK address. British citizens, Guardian. British citizens who are away overseas temporarily do not need to register as overseas electors and can register to vote in the usual way at their UK address. Crown servants and British Council employees employed in a post outside the UK can register by making a Crown servant declaration, allowing them to vote in all UK elections. An individual can register as an anonymous elector if his/her safety would be at risk were his/her name and address to be disclosed publicly on the electoral register. But the application needs to be supported by a relevant court order, injunction or an attestation by a chief police officer or a director of social services. The right of Commonwealth and Irish citizens to vote is a legacy of the Representation of the People Act 1918, which limited the vote to British subjects. At that time, British subjects included the people of Ireland, then part of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and all other parts of the British Empire. Though most of Ireland and the majority of the colonies became independent nations, their citizens have retained the right to vote if they live in the United Kingdom. In theory, members of the royal family who are not members of the House of Lords are eligible to vote, although in practice they do not exercise that right. In Great Britain, most electors are enrolled during the course of the annual canvass, which electoral registration officers are obliged to conduct every year.